Oh, my amigos, welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting English extravaganza. You know it. It's the show with no name, and it's time for
T-minus 10,
liftoff.
9, 8,
Come
7,
on, folks.
6, 5,
Lift
4,
off with me.
3, 2, 1,
Come
0.
on.
Ignition.
Let's get this
Liftoff.
thing going.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after
Yeah. Come on.
Get ready.
Yes.
Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your
And
hats.
get ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no. It's show with no name time. On Fun Radio.
Oh, yeah.
It's the show with no name.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go.
Welcome, folks. Welcome. Welcome to another exciting English extravaganza. And what makes it exciting is that you guys are here in real time, participating, playing along, learning, repeating the different structures and vocabulary aloud, and just overall being awesome students. And wow, what a turnout. Vaya asistencia in last week's question of the week. Whoa, seriously. Alberto, Alfonso, Anix, Born to Ironman, Chris Valrol, Marisol, Nuria, and Laura all put in their 2 cents. Sus granitos de arena, their 2 cents. We say sus 2 céntimos. So, folks, if you'd like to participate this week and join these amazing students who week after week work on their spoken English, which is awesome, and they receive feedback, well, you can participate in this week's question of the week by telling us in a 1-minute audio, keep it at around 1 minute, and tell us how you politely end a conversation with someone who is annoying. Okay? Pesado. The translation there. A pain in the neck, or just somebody who's not giving you good vibes. You know what I mean? Somebody where maybe you struck up a conversation with them. Viene del verbo to strike up a conversation, entablar, you say. Or maybe they struck up a conversation with you. Ahora, si te resulta difícil el strike, no, este phrasal verb strike, struck up. You can also say to start, right? Otra forma de decir entablar una conversación. But sometimes it's too late. You're in a conversation and you're like, okay, get me out of here. Sácame de aquí, por favor. So how do you deal with this situation that we've all dealt with? And it can be quite terrifying. Oh, hell yeah. You know, when you're like, oh, man, seriously. And, you know, you're saying, okay, yeah, cool. But obviously, you're just trying to get the F out of there. And I think you know what that F stands for. Yes, that's right. So how do you politely, remember, we're looking to be diplomatic here with our English and in general. So how do you politely end a conversation with someone who's annoying or just rude? No, how would you say? Rude is que le falta educación, right? Somebody who is rude. So tell us. And if you can tell us in 1 minute, around a minute, use that as a guide. You can send it, you can record it on your phone, you know, find a little quiet spot where there isn't too much of an echo and record it. And you can practice it. You can, I mean, here's what I would do. My advice, if you want to script it, that's great, but do not read to me. So you get what I'm saying? Script it. This way it gives you an idea. You're not just making it up as you go. And for some people, I guess it's easier, but do not read the script. get the general idea and say it to us. So nobody wants to be read to. This is an exercise about speaking. And when we speak, we do not have a piece of paper in our hands or our tablet or something like that. So I'm not saying you shouldn't script it, but I'm saying you shouldn't read it when it comes time to record it. Now, if you'd like to read it as you're practicing to get the flow and remember the order, excellent. But when it's time to record, just put yourself into it, because I can always tell. I don't know about you guys, but I can always tell when someone is reading to me. And unless you're a little kid who's past her bedtime, you don't want to be read to. No quieres que te lean. All right. So that is question of the week. As always, we do it on Friday. Send it to me before the end of the day on Thursday to make sure we get it here into the soundboard, La Mesa de Mezcla. And this way we are rocking and rolling. All right. Looking forward to hearing from all of you. As I said, what an amazing turnout, para usar esa palabra otra vez. What an amazing turnout we had last week. Let's do it again this week's show with No Namers. All right, are you ready for a little challenge? All right, it's time for the Say What soundbite.
Say what?
Yes.
What?
All right, folks, your Say What soundbite. A little listening exercise, I would say. A listening exercise mixed in with an exercise where you practice taking dictation and, in the first part, summing things up, giving people some feedback, your opinion based on something you heard. It's a great skill to practice, I would say, even in your own language, right? And it's its own skill. Learning to sum things up is not easy. If not, we wouldn't have the expression, get to the point. What's your point? No, ¿a qué vas? Vaya al grano. What are you getting at? So, sometimes, we don't always take the concise route, la ruta concisa. And again, I'm talking about when we speak our own languages. So that is an art form, a skill in and of itself, en sí mismo, ¿no? Saber ser conciso, resumir las cosas en pocas palabras. Right? It's not how much you say, it's how powerful it is. And sometimes, and I learned this when I was studying acting, interpretación, there's power in silence. Did you see what happened there? When I stopped, I said, there's power. And in that pause, you were like, wait, what just happened? I think. So, hey, it's just interesting. I love that kind of stuff. The dynamics of speaking in public, one-to-one, how that's different from speaking in public. It's not just languages that fascinate me, but it's, interrelations, the way we relate. How we agree, how we disagree, the way we view the world. And we can see that very clearly through our idiomatic expressions that we use. You want to understand a culture, take a look at their expressions, las expresiones. And if you want me to tell you my opinion on Spanish culture based on your idiomatic expressions, you guys have a hell of a sense of humor. Tenéis bastante sentido de humor. Your idiomatic expressions are quite funny, right? So, maybe other people have more serious ones. In English, we've got some pretty good ones, but I think Spain takes the cake, or I should say the Spanish language takes the cake. Se lleva la palma. We say la tarta or el bizcocho. It's another way to say cake as well. All right, well, let's get into today's Say What soundbite. Now, as always on this section, we hear native speakers and we hear non-native speakers. And why is that? Because that just, I think it just confirms that more and more people from all different cultures use English in their job, in their everyday life. They use English. And this is one of those people. So I would say this person is internationally known. Usually the people who are internationally known know the importance of speaking a second language, or who knows, maybe even a third or a fourth. And they say that the third or the fourth is a lot easier once you've got two under your belt, como decimos, en tu haber. All right, so let's listen to this and we'll see what you guys get from it. It's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
I told him to be at 2:00 in my office for a meeting, and he was not there. And when I called him, he went to the Formula One qualification races on a Saturday for the race on the Sunday. On the Sunday.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. You're chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip. Sorber.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender, y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right, folks. You know it, y lo sabes, as we say. And I think Julio Iglesias says it that way as well. All right, well, folks, this is the show with no name. That was your Say What soundbite for the first time. And now we're going to move on to our second challenge while you guys are thinking it through, dándole algunas vueltas. So it's time for today's Pop Quiz.
Pop quiz.
Come on.
Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz, 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 quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz, 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 quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz.
All right, my amigos. Today we are going to take a look at some verbs that I think even native speakers mix up from time to time, the usage. Because, well, you know, I guess if you think about it in black and white on paper, it makes sense. But again, we're talking about talking to people, you know, in the middle of the street. There's no piece of paper, like I just said about your Say What soundbite. So there's no script, vamos a decirlo así, no hay guión. So you just need to know them and their uses. And the verbs I'm talking about are the verbs rise and raise. Rise and raise. And I'm telling you, even to this day, myself as an English teacher, sometimes I'm like, wait, rise or raise? I don't know. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a deeper look at these two very common verbs, the idiomatic expressions that you can get from rise and raise. As we know, one we've looked at here many times, to raise the bar, subir el listón, to raise the bar. So we're going to take a look at all that stuff, the conjugation of each one, because one of them is a regular verb and the other one is an irregular verb. Now, do you know the difference? All right, well, listen to this little audio clip. This is from my first book, English Everywhere, and this is where I delve into, apúntate esa es muy buena. En español, creo que es indagar, right? To go deeper. Se escribe delve, no con V, delve. As I delve into these two words that, as I said, even native speakers mix up, and we will demystify them and really get to know rise and raise. So listen carefully, and yes, you know it, I'm definitely going to have some questions for you afterwards. Let's see if you've got what it takes to get through this list. And remember, I want you to focus on putting it together. Don't just say it, eat these. I want you to say it's a, it's an. Try and sound as much like me as possible. Here we go. El sol se levanta o sube temprano. The sun rises. Did you say it in third person? The sun rises early. Ask me. Does the sun rise early? Yeah, the sun rises early. Okay, next one. Vamos a levantar las manos. Todos a levantar las manos. Let's raise our hands. Oh, it's a Bon Jovi song too. Raise your hand when you want to let it go. Raise. And he's talking about, raise your hand, your fist, like rock and roll. I should have added that one. It's a great song. Raise your hand. Let's raise our hands. No our. Yo lo digo así, our. Let's raise our hands. All right, the next one. Los precios están subiendo. Remember, nobody's doing it. They're doing it on their own here. Prices, not the prices. Prices are rising. Ask me. Are prices rising? Yeah, prices are rising. The next one. La temperatura subirá esta semana. And I want your pronunciation of temp. I want it perfect. The temperature will rise this week. Ask me. Will the temperature rise this week? Yes. The temperature will rise this week. Will it? Sería la pregunta. All right, the next one. El río se desbordó después de la tormenta. Lo hace solo. Nadie lo está provocando. Bueno, la tormenta. But you know what I'm saying. You catch my drift. The river rose after the storm. The river rose after the storm. Ask me, did the river rise? Did it rise after the storm? Did you get it right? Great. You're subiendo el listón. Si no, tienes que subir el listón. That's the next translation. Tienes que subir el listón. You have to. You have to raise the bar. You have to raise the bar. We looked at it in the have episode. It's have to. You have to raise the bar. Ask me, ¿tengo que subir el listón? Do I have to? Do I have to raise the bar? Well, if you're not giving it 110%, if you're not going the extra mile, then yes, you have to raise the bar. Speaking of raise the bar, let's raise the bar with our next question. La marea sube y baja con las fases de la luna. The tide rises and falls with the phases of the moon. The tide, la marea. The next one, la campaña de recaudación de fondos recaudó mucho dinero. The fundraising campaign raised a lot of money. The fundraising campaign raised a lot of money. Ask me, did the fundraising campaign raise a lot of money? Did it? Did the fundraising campaign raise a lot of money? All right, the next one. El jefe aumentó el salario de los empleados. The boss raised the employees' salaries. They got a raise. Unless you're in Britain, and then they got a rise. And that was an idiomatic expression as well, to get a rise out of someone. Oh, te estoy vacilando. I'm just trying to get a rise out of you. Provocarte, vacilarte. All right, and the last one. La población de la ciudad ha subido significativamente. That's a difficult one for me. I had to slow down. La población de la ciudad ha subido significativamente. Whoa. Tough one. I hope you don't have as much trouble saying it in English. Did you say the city's population has risen significantly? And you can contract it. The city's population's risen. Populations. The city's population's risen significantly. Ask me, has the city's population risen significantly? How did you guys do? Did you get 7 out of 10? 8 out of 10? Well, great job. And if not, you can always go back and practice it. But we've got to get going. All right, folks. Well, there you go. I'm interrupting myself. Did you ever think you could do that? All right. Well, there it is, folks. That is a verb. 2 verbs, though I should say those are verbs we need to know. Rise and raise really quickly before we go to our commercial break. So rise. Rise is a verb first that is irregular as opposed to raised, which is regular. So every day I rise. Yesterday I rose. Lately I've, te toca, risen. Aunque es una S, suena como una Z. I've risen. And raise is, if it's a regular verb, raised. Okay, con sonido de, no te, como walked. Okay, hay que distinguir entre ellos. So rise, rose, risen, raised, raised. Now the difference, raise is a transitive verb and rise is an intransitive verb. Wow, that's it? Well, also we can explain that, I guess. What does that mean? Raise must have an object, okay? So you raise a glass, right? You raised your hand. Something has to act on something, whereas something rises on its own accord. So the sun, as one of the examples we heard, the sun rose yesterday morning. Right? Nobody did anything. Nobody acted upon it. Again, the difference is, if we're going to look at it in grammar terms, is raise is transitive, so there must be an object, and rise does not have an object. It's that simple. All right. Now, I know one thing is knowing it, as we said, in black and white, in theory, and that's great to know it. But another thing is knowing it when you need to use it, one of the two in a conversation, and you know which one to use, which form of the verb, then we're talking about a little bit more confusion. All right, well, let's take a look at what I want from you. The first one, la campaña de recaudación de fondos recaudó mucho dinero. Okay, so la campaña de recaudación de fondos recaudó mucho dinero. That is number one. The second one, you can free range here. Úsalo como tú lo usarías. Montar un pollo, you say. To mount or to ride a chicken. That sounds kind of weird. Yeah, so how would you say that? Acuérdate, todos hoy tienen o rise o raise, ¿no? En ellos es lo que estamos mirando, los factores en común. So the first one, la campaña de recaudación de fondos, recaudó mucho dinero. Number two, how would you tell me? Montar un pollo, montar un escándalo, liarla, vamos, okay? And the last one, and this is another one we heard in the audio, all three of them are straight from the audio, hacer saltar, provocar, molestar, fastidiar. Okay, you can also say sacar de sus casillas. All right, there we go, my amigos. Lots of interesting idiomatic expressions, and we're clearing up one of the most confusing sets of words out there, raise and rise. Raise your hand if you're ready for more. Okay, well, tons more after this quick commercial break, so stick around. Yes. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is part 2 of today's show with no name. And thank you for joining us today and every day. Don't forget, the best way to warm up for this show is listening to my buddy Fitz's show, a show called No Excuses. It's a master class with our master teacher trainer, Fitz. And you can learn every day with Fitz. It's the only way. Fitz doesn't have time for private classes. I know for a fact that he doesn't give private classes. Private, you say, particulares. He doesn't have time to go to the bathroom, poor guy. He works hard. Well, we all do, but, you know, he's training teachers all the time, dealing with the ins and outs of the business, you know. And he's got an hour of his day where he dedicates it to his students, and that's here on Vaughn Radio. It's No Excuses. I wouldn't miss it. He's the guy who trained all of us. So if you like the way any of us teach, well, thanks to Fitz. Because if you started at Vaughn in the last 15, 20 years, I don't know how long exactly, I think in the last 20 years or so, then you came through the Fitz filter. And I got to tell you something right now. He is very demanding, as he should be, right? As a teacher and as a trainer. I respected him, but also he made us work our asses off. I'll never forget. I remember being up for hours at night, like, I got to finish my homework. But he was also, you know, teaching us, you got to give them homework. So they go home and they, you know, they're forced to spend some more time with English. And that homework can be watching a series, listening to a podcast, and then talking about it the next day. It doesn't have to be written homework, so to speak. But man, woo-hoo, I got to say, I remember sweating in the training program. And I think when we started, there were maybe, I would say 12 of us. And I think 7 of us finished. So, yeah, I told you, the Fitz filter. So don't miss his program every day right before this show. You can tune in on the Vaughn Radio app. As long as you've got service on your phone, cobertura, then you are connected to Vaughn Radio. All right, let's see what we've got. We've got a lot of stuff to do, so we'll get right back into things. Let me give you guys the Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you for the second time now, and we'll see if we can make some sense of it. All right, here we go.
I told him to be at 2 o'clock in my office for a meeting, and he was not there. And when I called him, he went to the Formula One qualification races on a Saturday for the race on the Sunday. on the Sunday.
Hey, Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. You can pick up all my books at Vaughan Tienda or wherever fine books are sold. You've got English everywhere. You've got This Book is the Milk. This Book is the Milk too. This Book is the Shit. That's the trilogy. And then you've also got English on the go. Aprende Inglés Viajando por el Mundo, where I take you to 30 different English-speaking cities, and we discover English throughout the sights, the sounds, the tastes. Yeah, in every chapter, we take a look at, things from that city. Food. So that's what I mean about the taste. Local lingo, no, la jerga local, because if you grow up in New York, well, the lingo in New York is different than the local lingo in Boston or, Chicago or a small town. Even. So those kind of things you need to know to navigate those cultural things. Again, all 5 of those books are available at Vaughan Tienda. You can also pick them up at Casa del Libro, our great friends. Casa del Libro, as I always say, they've always treated us really, really good throughout the years. So a shout out to all of you as well. All right, let's see what we've got over here. We're looking at Raise and Rise. Well, there is a little strange place where they overlap. ¿Te suena la palabra overlap? Si no me equivoco, es solaparse, where they overlap. And that's un aumento de salario. So if you're in England, you ask for a pay rise. If you're in the United States, you ask for a raise, right? Now, which one makes more sense? I would say the American one, right? Because we just said raise. Somebody has to raise something. Something, it's not like rise where it goes by itself, right? Prices, so they raised, por eso precios, los dos te valen. They really raised the prices. Han subido los precios. And prices have risen a lot. Es que han subido, pero por subir, So in that case, they can be both. But also, un aumento de salario en inglés británico is he asked for a rise. And in inglés americano is he asked for a raise. Okay? So we already looked at to raise the stakes. Okay, the stakes. Subir el listón. Poner más en juego. To raise your game. Do I have to tell you what this is? right? This is venir con todas, right? You got to raise your game. These guys are really good. Tienes que ser mejor, ¿no? To improve your performance or your efforts. To raise a glass, something we do when we make a toast, right? Un brindis. Okay, are you raising his hopes, subiéndole la esperanza sobre algo que no va a pasar, right? Oh, please, come on, don't raise my hopes. It's a really good one to know. No me des ilusiones, I think. No me hagas hacer ilusiones, something like that, you would say. And if you're having a bad day, don't worry. Your English teacher, your fellow students, we will raise your spirits. We'll make you more cheerful. We'll make you more positive. We'll cheer you up. We'll help you raise your spirits. And then once you're feeling better, we'll raise the roof. You know this one? This is to party. Piénsalo, si haces un fiestón, pues el techo se levanta de la música, de petarlo ahí. So we'll raise the roof to celebrate it. This one I know you know. Those were a couple with raise. Here are a couple idioms with rise. Rise and shine. I know you know that one, right? Rise and shine. Many of you have used it here. Also reminds me of Benjamin Franklin. Early to bed, early to rise makes a person, he said a man, but we can change it to person because it can work for anyone. Early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's what old Ben Franklin said. So rise and shine. That means wake up. Good morning. Vamos a por ello. To rise above. Pues no rebajarte. To rise above is to overcome difficulties or negative circumstances. I know it's a difficult situation, but you will rise above, right? To rise to the occasion. I say that to you guys all the time. Wow, you guys, you really rose to the occasion. I knew you would rise to the occasion. I say it to you guys often here. And it means to meet or handle a challenge or difficulty. Mira, escucha, está la palabra challenge ahí. So to meet a challenge well. And you guys always do that. You always rise to the occasion. Okay. To rise up from the ashes means that the same thing it does in Spanish, you know? I think it's the phoenix. Is that the bird that rose? Acuérdate, rise, rose, risen. The bird that rose up from the ashes, right? And let's see, rise to fame, su subida al ser famoso, that's easy. Rise to power. So, si pones el rise es su ascenso. His rise to power was a slow one. His rise to the top, his rise to fame. Los tres de esos significan lo mismo, ¿no? Tu ascenso. So there you go, folks. And then we've got it in movies as well, in music. I already said Bon Jovi. Raise your hand when you want to let it go. Raise your hand. You've also got the animals in the house of the rising sun. There is a house in New Orleans. Also, remember this, as I say it, I thought to myself, raise is también criar, right? Your parents, how many children did your parents raise? Criar. Well, if you have a brother or a sister, a sibling, one, then your parents raised 2 kids. Okay, so that's another usage of raise as well. All right, so I think we pretty much cleared it up. Let's take a look at your examples. Right now, we've got a lot of students participating, ready to rock and roll. Great to see you all. Awesome. Awesome. There's Chris Valrol. What's up, Chris? She says, morning, guys. How's it going, Chris? Born to Iron Man says, hiya, friends. What's up, buddy? Chris Valrol says, I heard a guy who isn't a native English speaker, correct? Okay, she's talking about our Say What soundbite. He could be Mexican. He isn't, excuse me. Thank you. I know you just said bless you or gesundheit. So thank you. And he's not Mexican. I can give you a clue. Why not? He's Portuguese. So he's from Portugal. He's Portuguese. And he's connected to the Formula One. He isn't, but he is telling a story about the Formula One. So I see how you would gather that. She also says he's telling an anecdote and he called someone to arrange a meeting, but they didn't show up. Absolutely. Great, Chris. Wonderful. Good ear and really good explanation as well. Wonderful job there. All right, let's see. Chris is also participating in our pop quiz. Let's see what she came up with. The first one, the fundraising campaign raised a lot of money. Absolutely. Yeah, de hecho, el evento se llama a fundraiser. ¿Cómo lo llamáis? Recaudador de... Bueno, también puede ser la persona. Okay, so you've got two. The fundraisers were organizing a fundraiser. O sea, los recaudadores de fondos estaban organizando un evento de recaudación de fondos. So it's like a charity. We say, you say ONG, we say charity, right? He donates to different charities, right? Y luego decimos, charity starts at home, right? You got to take care of your family yourself before you save the planet, the whales, you know. So that's an expression that I believe is as old as the hills, right? So a fundraiser. Yeah, we say recaudar fondos, right? Recaudar dinero, recaudar fondo. We're raising money. You can say we're raising money. We're raising money for the local charity here. Okay, they take stray animals and they give them homes. No, animales callejeros, y les dan casitas. All right, so excellent job on that one. Let's take a look at the next one. He threw a fit when they pushed his buttons. Great, you used the last two in one sentence. Those aren't the ones that I have, but they're great. And in fact, to throw a fit, yeah, that means to get really angry. That's right, to throw a fit. Man, he threw a fit. A fit es un arrebato, right? Also, so he threw a fit when they pushed his buttons. Yeah, to push someone's buttons is tocarle las narices. What did you think I was going to say, right? Tocarle las narices. So, yes, it's not raise or rise, but guess what, Chris? Great vocabulary. Don't push my buttons, right? And to throw a fit is to get really angry, okay? So excellent. They both work, and it's great. Great vocabulary we're looking at there too, thanks to Chris Valrol. Born to Iron Man says the fundraising campaign raised many funds. Very good. Very good. The next one, the POTUS, the President of the United States, the POTUS raised a fuss in the middle of the meeting. To raise a fuss. That's it. Well, I have here to raise a stink, but it's the same thing. O sea, nos valen los dos. Okay, I'm going to raise a stink. Voy a montar un pollo. Voy a montar un escándalo. If they don't bring us our drink soon, we've been waiting for 45 minutes. Well, I'm going to raise a stink. Okay, or raise a fuss, as Born to Iron Man put. Excellent. And the last one, Trump comments, right? Los comentarios de Trump. Trump's comments raised tensions in the room. Okay. To raise tensions? No. So this is the expression means not so much to raise tensions, but to provoke, right? To provoke. So yeah, it's similar. It's similar. I like that you use raised, but and it is correct, but it's not the one. I'm looking for an idiomatic expression. We heard it in the audio. I said it really, really quickly in the audio, though. All right, let's see. Chris says, sorry, we had to use raise in all three cases. I was distracted by the say what soundbite. No worries at all, Chris. In fact, as I said, we took advantage of the fact that you used two totally native expressions. To throw a fit and to push someone's buttons. All right, well, that last one is to get a rise out of someone. Okay? Oh, just ignore him. He's trying to get a rise out of you. Now, out of, acuérdate, lo pronunciamos aura. Aura. Man, come on, calm down. I was just trying to get a rise out of you. To get a rise out of someone is to provoke them. You know, something you do if you have a little brother, or your little brother probably does it to you, right? So it's hacer saltar, provocar, molestar, fastidiar, sacar de sus casillas, unless you are in Argentina, and then it's hacer calentar. All right. Excellent job to our show with no namers. Wonderful, wonderful job. It is time to move on, though, because we've got to look at today's news report.
This is the news report on the show with no name, bringing you the latest breaking news. I'm Alberto Alonso, reporting live.
That's right, folks. It is our news report. I don't know why I'm doing it with a British accent. It's got nothing to do with Britain. In fact, it has to do with New South Wales. Oh, I'm not even going to try that accent. All right, well, folks, this sounds like the movie Jaws. El Tiburón, right? You call it El Tiburón, Jaws, the Steven Spielberg blockbuster, summer blockbuster that made everybody afraid to go into the water, right or wrong, globally, right? Well, in New South Wales, there have been 4 shark attacks in 48 hours. That's, okay, whoa. 4 shark attacks in 48 hours. That's okay. More than anybody would want to have, I guess. Even a place that's infested with sharks. And, well, the authorities there have a brilliant idea. You know what they say? And I quote, y voy a citar aquí, just go to a pool. Oh, yeah, you need to cool off? It's hot here in New South Wales. Well, go to a pool. Oh, okay. That's great. So, yeah, a surfer recently was taken to the hospital after being bitten. Acuérdate, bite, bit, bitten. So after being bitten by a shark off the coast. Again, that was the 4th incident. Another incident, there was another man. Well, he was on his surfboard. So a lot of surfers down there. And a shark grabbed onto his surfboard. That's crazier. I don't think that happens in the movie. So imagine that. You're surfing, and even if the shark doesn't get a piece of you, you still shit your pants, I imagine. I would. Just knowing there's a shark in the water next to me, I would shit my pants. Wouldn't you? Well, this man, luckily, only sustained a wound to his chest. A wound is an injury. And he was treated at a hospital, and he escaped serious injury. He was relatively unscathed. Unscathed, se escribe. Unscathed. Sin ileso, ¿no? Sin mucho daño. A couple minor cuts. Unos cortecillos, right? And the authorities said, and I quote again, if anyone's thinking of heading into the surf this morning, anywhere along the northern beaches, think again. We have such poor water quality that's conducive to bull shark activity. Bull shark is a type of shark, no? Toro, bull shark. We have 2 people critically injured in the hospital this morning. Just go to a local pool. Are you okay? Like, we understand you guys want to cool down. Cool off or cool down. Se puede decir los dos. Because at this stage, we are advising that the beaches are unsafe. And this is, again, New South Wales at Sydney Harbor. And I know what you're thinking. Australia, there are always shark bites. There are a lot of wild animals in Australia. Yeah, but shark bites are quite rare in Sydney Harbor. In fact, the last time there were 4, it was in a 50-year period. So, And so now they're a little bit concerned, let's say. I guess it depends if you're in the water or out of the water, right? If you're out of the water, you're concerned. If you're on land, right? If you're in the water, you're worried. And yeah, they say some other advice if you have to go in to the water. They said swim in groups. Tenéis que nadar en grupo. Avoid swimming at dawn and dusk. We were talking about sun rising and setting. So dawn is the morning, dusk is when it goes down, the sun sets. It says also stay out of the ocean and waterways after heavy rainfall. Yeah, I guess they like when the water is brackish. How do you say that in Spanish? Brackish. Toma palabra. Brackish. Salobre. So when there's salt mixed in with that fresh water. Well, either way, I know these are rare, but stories like this make me confirm what the authorities there are recommending. Let's go to the pool, shall we? Vamos a la piscina. All right, folks, we have got to go. I can't believe it. We've got to go to another commercial break. We'll be right back with much more, so stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, amigos. Welcome back. This is, I can't believe it, the second half of today's show. Well, it reminds me, when we're talking about sharks here, what it makes me think of is a loan shark. I think you say prestamista ilegal. A loan shark. Loan es préstamo. Not alone, solitario, aunque son homófonos. Right? A loan shark said he wanted to be alone. Always playing with words here on the show with no name. English learning of any kind should be fun. I believe that. I apply it in my own learning. I apply it when I'm teaching my daughter, and I apply it every day here on the show with no name. And all my friends apply the same philosophy. If we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong. So make sure you tune into all the amazing programs here on Vaughn Radio. Programs by Rob Grams, Fitz, Ruby, Ale, Dave Boys, Kyle Miller, Jessica Fernandez, and of course, the man who started it all, Richard Vaughn. Download the free Vaughn Radio app or listen on your favorite podcast platform. Learn and laugh with us every day for free on Vaughn Radio. And if you want more information about courses, materials, make sure you're following us on social media. You can also stop by our website. It's grupovon.com. All right, let's kick things off in the second half of the program with our homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
Show it no. That's right, folks. Welcome to the show with no name, homophone section, where we look at those tricky words that sometimes throw my students off. And you know what? I get it. And that's exactly why we have this section. This way, we don't only look at the words and their many meanings, but we practice saying them, because a lot of times, if they're not homophones, it's a little nuance, right? Like burn and barn. Vamos a decir estos. Burn, ya que estamos. Arder, quemar. Burn. Barn. What about this one? Warm. What did I just say? Calentito. Warm. And worm. Worm es gusano o lombriz, right? So vamos a decir, di esta frase y a ver si lo dices igual. Es una lombriz calentita. It's a warm worm that will burn the barn. Oh my God. I know it's confusing and you just want to scream. But don't. We'll clear it up. The best way is to say it when you hear it. All right. The first one is an onomatopoeic word, and it's to hit somebody with your hand. Now, not punch someone, right? This is with your hand open, so you're seeing your palm. Okay, usually it's hitting somebody with your palm. Okay, dar un manotazo, una bofetada. Now, as with many words in English, it's the verb and the noun. So, una bofetada y dar una bofetada. Okay, and I'm seeing if it's got any other meanings here. Una palmada en la cara, pero eso es como una bofetada, ¿no? It's the literal spelling and form, but it means in the figurative sense, ¿no? Vaya bofetada que le han dado. Okay, so we say that one as well. And ¿qué más? Oh, tiene que ver con hockey también. Es un tiro de hockey. All right, well, there you go, folks. The first word, again, I think the easiest usage, although as we've just seen, it has many, is darle un manotazo, una bofetada. También es bofetear. Did I say that right? No? So it's the verb and the noun, okay? The second word, I love this word in Spanish, bazofia. I remember the first time I heard it, I said, what did you say? He says, bazofia. I'm like, bazofia. It's a sound. To me, the word sounds funny. Probably not to you because you've heard it 1,000,001 times. But to me, the word bazofia, a funny sounding word. So what is it? Unappetizing food. Porquería. Bazofia. Okay. También es derramar. Okay. So, but I would say, yeah. Okay, it's derramar, tirar. But I would use another word for it. So better just bazofia, porquería. Okay? That is the second word. Now, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that first word. The second word, I'm not sure if you know it or not. We shall see. All right, you can participate over here in the group, and we'll take a look at your answers in just a minute. I'm going to give you your Say What soundbite. This is it for the third time. So good luck.
I told him to be at 2 o'clock in my office for a meeting, and he was not there. And when I called him, he went to the Formula One qualification races on a Saturday for the race on the Sunday. On the Sunday.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to groupovaughan.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. That's right, folks, Vaughan Town. And it is just an amazing initiative that was developed now, I would say, over 15, maybe 20 years ago now. And it's still going. And that's just gives you a little inkling, una pequeña ojeada, a little inkling. No, inkling? No es ojeada tanto. Inkling of how well it's going. You know, for the students, a noción, an inkling. Okay, just to give you the idea, the inkling, ink como tinte, pero con ling después, an inkling. So if you want more information about Vaughan Town, Disney Vaughan English, newer initiatives like that, or anything, remember you can always contact us. If I'm not mistaken, there's still a 50% deal, so you get 50% off right now on the curso online de Auto Studio. As I said, if it was something you were thinking of doing, well, don't think very much longer. You have until the end of February. No, excuse me. I stand corrected. Until the end of January 2026 to make the most of this 50% discount. Again, more information, go to groupovaughan.com. All right, let's see. Born to Iron Man has given us the two homophone words, and he gives us the words correctly. And let's see. And then Chris Valrol, same words, good. And she says that they are not homophones. So neither one of you think these words sound the same. So both of you superstar students are saying, All right, let's say both words. The first word is slap. Slap. Okay. It's one of my favorite spices as well. It's like a Cajun seasoning. Tengo un sazón cajún que se llama slap your mama. Te lo juro. Slap. Okay. As we said, figuratively, it's a slap in the face, right? It is a slap in the face. And in hockey, as I said, a slap shot. ¿Por qué? Porque si has visto un partido de hockey, when they hit the puck, it goes slap. So it's a good name for it as well. So slap, slap. The second word, slop, slop. Okay? If you give me that slop, I'll slap you. Vamos a decir esa frase. If you give me that slop, si me das esa bazofia, te voy a dar un guantazo. I'm going to slap you. So they do not sound the same. Excellent job. Let's rhyme some words with them. Slap. This is where you guys have to do it aloud with us. Slap rhymes with tap. Rhymes with lap. Rhymes with map. Rhymes with cap. And slop rhymes with drop. Stop. It's not stop in English, right? Stop. Rhymes with drop. Slop. Okay, thinking of other ones here. Drop and many others. So the first one is ah. The second one is ah. All right, excellent job. Wow. Knocking it out of the park. My superstars, Chris and Born to Iron Man. Let's see, Chris has something to say. She says, it is said that sharks bite because it is their way of exploring, not because they want to eat us. But I wouldn't want one nearby. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Yeah, that's nice, but explore somewhere else. Because I'm going to poop my pants, you know. And again, they say you have more chances of getting hit by lightning, you know, than being bitten by a shark. That's what they say. The chances of being bitten by a shark are very, very slim. But you know what? I don't want to test the odds. No quiero poner a prueba esa probabilidad. All right? So I'll take your word for it, documentarians, you know, from the BBC Earth. They're like, sharks are our friends. Okay, well, you go in the water with them and I'll watch here from land where I'm concerned, not worried. All right, let's see. Chris says, but it was a slap in the face how quickly I was replaced from you ought to know. You'll remind me of the mess you made when you went away. Great tune. Let's see. Born to Iron Man. Are you kidding me? Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Born to Iron Man. Today, he has taken the title in today's Say What soundbite. Great. And we still have another listen left. So that is wonderful. Another listen left. And we are rocking and rolling. All right, Born to Iron Man, making me proud. All right, let's see what we've got up next, though, because as you know, we've always got tons of things to do here. And right now, it's time for Life Hacks, Truquitos de la Vida.
These are the life hacks you need to know.
All right, folks. Well, take it from me, como decimos, I know how to keep warm. I know how to bundle up. Abrigarse is to bundle up, right? Bundle es hacerte un fardo. Es como hazte un fardo, tú mismo, ¿no? A bundle. In fact, we call a little baby, a newborn baby, a bundle of joy, right? De felicidad. So there are tricks, you know? Like, I'm sure we all know instinctively, many of them. Because if you think about it this way, if your feet are wet, you're going to be colder, right? And so logically, you want to keep, you'd think this is common sense. If you're out there and you're getting cold, number one thing you want to do is stay dry, right? And, we just looked at the word warm, by the way, también, que estábamos mirando warm, calentito, and worm. And I figured it would be a good thing to look at during the coldest period of the season. In fact, we're lucky. In Madrid, it's chilly, hace frío. But my parents right now, they're sending me photos and videos, and they are in the middle of a severe snowstorm. In fact, my mother already called out of work next Monday. Well, Monday, today. She told me, I think on Friday or Saturday, she goes, oh, we're getting killed here. We're getting a serious snowstorm, un vendaval, and obviously the roads are dangerous, and a lot of people don't go to work or they work from home because, well, you're not going to put your life in jeopardy, in peligro, to go clock in. You catch my drift. And it's par for the course, como es la expresión, ¿no? Lo tenemos ya asumido ahí, que va a nevar, la cuestión es cuántas veces y con qué frecuencia. But it's definitely going to snow, and with snow comes wind and cold. Because one thing is a nice little morning snowfall, and another thing is a snowstorm where the wind is going 70 kilometers per hour, and that's cold wind. And then we're talking about frostbite territory. Frostbite, ¿cómo decís esto? Puedes perder parte de la mano o del pie if you get. In fact, you see it a lot on Mount Everest. Frostbite, congelación, ¿no? Pero de una extremidad. So frostbite, and nobody wants to get frostbite. I've seen some of these images of these climbers on Mount Everest, and it's pretty crazy. They're just missing a finger, missing a chunk of their nose or something because they got too cold. So number one rule, I think, and this is just great because you're kind of putting, like, if you were to be a knight in shining armor, un caballero, pues es como ponerte varias protecciones, right? So you've got your armor, tu armadura, but then under, you've got that metal layer, right? Tenían una capa de metal debajo, like it was kind of like woven, no? Como tejido. And so they had a lot of layers. They knew what they were doing. So we always say, layer up, bundle up, layer up. Layer is capa. Okay, you don't pronounce it layer, sino layer. Liar es mentiroso. So you got to have your base layer. Now, there's nothing wrong with long johns. You say los calzonazos, the long, we call them long johns, that thermal underwear. And nowadays, I've got to tell you something, for relatively cheap, especially when there's a deal going on, una oferta, you can pick up these kind of, this fabric, which is really, really thin, but it really holds in the heat. It traps in the heat very, very well. So that's always a good base layer because that's the layer that's touching your body. It's also the layer that should be very, very comfortable, right? And this is the one that's going to actually be getting your body heat, and you don't want it to lose it, right? So you got to use it. It's really important to use it. Then you've got your middle layer, and your middle layer, again, here you can put on a hoodie. There's no such thing as too many layers, es lo que yo he visto. And the best thing to do, no matter how many layers you put on, is make sure that outer layer, la capa de fuera, is waterproof. Why? Because as I said, if the goal here is to try and stay warm, right? Well, the water's not going to help that. All right. Also, the seal method. Okay. El método foca. No, not that seal. Seal sello. Lo sellas. And this literally means just tucking everything in, not letting air. Because sometimes, if you lift your arm, your shirt goes up, or you expose some of your back. If everything is tucked in, si metes todo, well, you're going to be snug, as we say, snug, cómodo, because everything is going to be holding that heat in. Again, you don't want to lose heat. That's why I always tell my daughter, we zipper our jackets up when we're at the house. Once we're outside, we've gotten cold already. So this way we're kind of trapping that heat that we got from inside, which is an important thing. The moment you unzip it, you've lost all that heat. So remember, you treat that heat that you have as if it were, gold, and you don't let it escape. You do that, again, having many, many layers. The seal method, which is literally tucking everything in. And yes, material matters, right? It's not the same to wear a football jersey than to wear, long johns or some kind of woven fabric that's made for this. And again, nowadays, you've got it all, and for relatively cheap. And this way, you're never caught out there in the freezing cold. So there you go, folks. Some life hacks for bundling up and keeping warm. All right, it's time for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, folks. It is our spelling bee here on the show with no name. And as always, the spelling bee is a section of the show where I spell some words for you really fast, at least in that first round. The second round, I'm a little less relentless, despiadado. All right, here we go. The first one is F-16D space FIGHTING space FALCON. The next one is LOS space LLANOS space AIR space BASE. The third one is 11 space CAS UALTIES. The fourth one, 33 space INJURED. The fifth one, HELLENIC space AIR space FORCE. And the last one, ALBACETE, comma, space SPAIN. Whoa. I didn't breathe at all there. So, Let's see. Going once. I know I don't give you too much time, but also we don't have too much time. So I give you as much as I can give you without having to rush through round two. Okay, because round two, I like to take it a little bit easier. Poco más tranquilidad. All right. Are you ready? Going once? Going twice? Oh, hang on. Born to Iron Man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Born to Iron Man. Wow. All right, here we go. The first one is F-16D space FIGHTING space FALCON. The second one is LOS space LLANOS space AIR space BASE. The third one is 11 space CAS UALTIES. The fourth one is 33 space INJURED. The fifth one is HELLENIC space AIR space FORCE. And the last one is ALBACETE, comma, space SPAIN. All right, folks. Nice. There's Chris Valrol as well. Excellent job. Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol in our spelling bee. Folks, we'll be right back with much more. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. It's a pleasure to be with you today and every day in your mornings, teaching you English. But hey, some of you listen in the afternoon, some of you in the evening. Whenever you listen, thanks. Thank you so much for tuning in and laughing and learning with us every day, along with all of my amigos. Download the free Vaughn Radio app, and you can listen to all your favorite programs whenever you want. As I always say, there's no wrong time to learn something new. Is there? All right, well, in this part of the show, we've got a lot of stuff to do here. We're going to kick things off with a double trouble. We've got our Say What soundbite. That's going to be the fourth and final listen. Great job, Born to Iron Man, who knocked it out of the park. We'll take a look at our spelling bee. We've got movies, we've got jokes and famous birthdays, and much, much more. Don't forget to participate in our question of the week as well. How do you get out of a conversation with somebody who's annoying in a diplomatic way? I don't know. I'd like to hear your tips. All right, folks, are you ready? Let's kick it off with our double trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is.
Give it up. 2, 3.
Double,
Come on, baby.
double trouble.
Come on.
I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right. Welcome to our double trouble section here on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got. Oh, I am so sorry. I am extremely sorry. Did I say double trouble? Oh, shit. Nope. This is a triple trouble. That's right. You're going to hear the same word 3 times. And I think somebody will get it. And I've already given you a clue. Yeah, in our news report. All right. Podemos darnos un chapuzón en la piscina luego. Vamos a juntar nuestro dinero y jugar al billar por ahora. All right. So you've got to use the same word 3 times. It's a triple trouble, as I just pointed out. Podemos darnos un chapuzón en la piscina luego. Vamos a juntar nuestro dinero y jugar al billar por ahora. All right? And as I said, we looked at the word piscina, right, before. We looked at it when we were talking about the authorities in Australia who said, guys, find a piscina. You don't have to swim in the ocean. It's like, wait a second. Is that really a solution? All right. So there you go, my amigos. That's your triple trouble. I have a feeling somebody will get it. It's not too difficult, even though it's the same word 3 times. Podemos darnos un chapuzón en la piscina luego. Punto. Vamos a juntar nuestro dinero y jugar al billar por ahora. All right, there's your triple trouble. Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite for the 4th and final time.
I told him to be at 2 o'clock in my office for a meeting, and he was not there. And when I called him, he went to the Formula One qualification races on a Saturday for the race on the Sunday.
Alberto, viene Tom Cruise al hormiguero y tengo que decirle una cosa. Tengo que decirle, vamos al lío. ¿Cómo se lo digo?
Vamos al lío, tío. Eso es facilísimo. Piensa en la canción de DJ Tiesto. Let's get down.
Let's get down to business.
Give me
One more night together.
Let's get down.
Let's get down to business. Let's get down to business. Ah, lo sabía, pero no sabía que lo sabía. Aprende inglés con canciones, películas, videojuegos, series, personajes, onomatopeyas. Todas las cosas que te rodean están en inglés, pero no te das cuenta de que ya las tienes en la cabeza. Solamente hay que colocarlas. Y para eso, utiliza nuestro tercer libro, This Book is the Shit, por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender.
Oh, yeah. That's right, amigos. Así da gusto. You can pick up all of our books over at Von Tienda. You can get them at Casa del Libro. You can also pick them up over at, what's the other one? Oh, Amazon, right. That little rinky-dink thing. All right, let's see what we've got over here. A couple comments. Born to Iron Man, referring to today's Say What soundbite. He says, unmistakable, that Portuguese guy. Yeah, I'll go as far as saying today's Say What soundbite is a special one. Wink, wink. Must be out, no? Today's Say What soundbite is a quote-unquote special one. Okay. I know you know Born to Iron Man. Well, great job. Let's see. Chris says, I saw a documentary about Yakutia. I don't know if I'm saying that right, in Russia, which seems to be one of the coldest places on the planet. And it's amazing how they have to protect themselves to go outside. Camel, wool knee pads. Oh, yeah. We're talking about a totally different kind of cold there. You know, I was talking about the cold in New York, which is a lot colder than the cold in Madrid. But again, there are levels. But the important thing is, no matter where you are, don't let that heat escape, right? Do that sealing method, el método de sellarte ahí para que no salga ningún calor ni entre el frío, right? You want to conserve that heat. And she says, and all the little tricks you mentioned. Yeah, well, you know, I grew up in an area where snow is the norm in the winter, and tons of it. And, well, it puts a damper on your plans many times. You know, as I said, my mom called out of work. No voy a estar, right? So a damper, impedimento, right? If it puts a damper on it, it ruins it, right? It makes it not as fun. But snow days are fun, too, because you can't really do too much except just chill. Netflix and chill, as they say. All right, let's see. We've got Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol. Both of them got the spelling bee, and we'll take a look at that right now. We'll take a look at our spelling bee words right after our triple trouble. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, we can take a dip in the pool later. For now, let's pool our money and play pool. Ladies and gentlemen, he is on a roll today. He is on a roll. Awesome job, buddy. Wow, and wow. Knocking it out of the park. So we can take a dip in the pool, okay? Now, we don't say bathe in the pool, because bathe is bañarse como con jabón, right? Aunque decimos to sunbathe, tomar el sol, right? But to take a dip, you want to go in the water, you want to take a dip, we wouldn't say, do you want to bathe? Si yo estoy en la playa, no te voy a decir, do you want to go bathe? Right? So it's weird to use it like that. And take a bath, tampoco, porque take a bath es en una bañera. So we really use take a dip. I always teach that one because it works, you know? We can take a dip in the pool later. For now, let's pool our money. Yeah, you can pool your money. You can pool your thoughts. You can pool your efforts. Put them all together, right? In fact, a carpool es el bus bao, ¿no? Todos ponéis como una quiniela. Cada uno pone de su parte. In fact, the word pool is quiniela también. We've got a football pool going on in the office. You want to get in on it? ¿Quieres estar en la quiniela? Right? So the idea behind pool is everybody putting in their efforts, their money, whatever it is, their resources to pool, right? So I don't know if you knew that one, but yeah, I see Born to Iron Man did. We can take a dip in the pool later. For now, let's pool our money. Juntamos dinero, no? Hacemos bote, you could even say, and play pool. Let's see. Chris Valrol says, we can go for a swim in the pool later. Me vale. Let's pool our money and play pool for now. Excellent job. Wow. Born to Iron Man and Chris, knocking it out of the park to play pool. Now, we call it, another way to say it too is billiards. He really likes billiards, but it's much more common to say pool, como el juego, right? In fact, we call it a pool hall. El salón de billar is a pool hall, right? I remember we used to go to pool halls a lot when I was a kid. Before we could go to bars, you know, you couldn't go to a bar where they served alcohol in the United States. So a lot of times we would hang out at pool halls. And yeah, let's pool our efforts. Let's pool our money. We like to carpool. And this way, well, we save money on some gasoline, right? I carpool with my neighbor since we have to go to the same place. So the idea is what I want you to get behind pool. Pool billar, pool piscina, sé que lo sabéis. El error muchas veces no es error, es redundancia más que nada. Mucha gente dice, I'm going to the swimming pool. No hay que poner swimming pool, right? Y si es otro tipo de piscina, como una cloaca, that would be a cesspool, right? That would be something different. A ver cómo traducen cesspool. C-E-S-S, pool, como una sola. A cesspool, una fosa séptica, pero una cloaca. Hey, whoa, I was right. Look at that. Sometimes words just stick there. All right, excellent job. What can I say? My students kicking ass. Also, Chris Valrol, she also figured out today's Say What soundbite. So you two are doing it. I'm telling you, you are definitely raising the bar, to look at the word raise and rise from before. You are raising the bar. You are raising the stakes, students. All right, let's also take a look at our spelling bee, which was extremely difficult because there were numbers in there and, well, all that jazz. All right, let's take a look over here. The first word that we got in today's spelling bee was F-16D, Fighting Falcon. What is that? That's a fighter jet, as you can hear in the background. Yeah, I got one. We've got a great budget here. Tenemos un presupuestazo. So I was able to rent one. See, over here. Hey. See, they're showing the Vaughn banner. Tienen una pancarta y todo. So the F-16 Fighting Falcon. Well, this aircraft crashed today in 2015. It's a beautiful plane, by the way. It's been around for a long time, and it's still used by many air forces and navies. I'm not sure about navies, but air forces definitely. And today in 2015, an F-16D Fighting Falcon crashed at Los Llanos Air Base. That was number 2. Number 2 was Los Llanos Air Base. Number 3, 11 casualties. No es casualidades, that would be coincidences. Esto es bajas, pérdidas. There were 11 casualties. 33 people were injured. Was number 4. Number 5, it was involving an F-16 owned by the Hellenic Air Force, the Greek Air Force, los griegos. And number 6 is where the base is located, where this tragic accident happened, and that is in Albacete, Spain. And I know what you guys say about Albacete. Albacete, shit and go. No lo aprendí a solas. Somebody taught me that. Albacete, caga y vete. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to keep moving on because we've got tons to do. So we're going to the movies.
Name that movie.
That's right, folks. It's Name That Movie here on the Show with No Name. All right, here we go. A failing ice hockey team finds success with outrageously violent hockey goonery. Wow. There we go. That's the sound we hear at the end of the hockey match. So a failing ice hockey. Remember, you say hockey. We don't. We say hockey. Hockey, como y latina. A failing ice hockey team finds success, éxito, with outrageously violent hockey goonery. Okay? Outrageous is what? That's crazy. Okay? And a goon es un imbécil. So goonery is imbecilidades. Did I just make gilipolleces? Bobeces? Am I making those up? ¿Me entiendes? No, you catch my drift there. So goonery. And if you call somebody a goon, it's imbécil, bobo. Now, it's also used in another context as well, matón o gorila, right? That mob boss, ese mafioso, goes everywhere with two goons. Ahora, pueden ser imbéciles y matones. Many times, I don't know. All right, let's take a look. We've got a winner, ladies and gentlemen, your movie queen, Chris Valrol. The movie is called Slapshot. Hey, I tried to give you a clue before. Slapshot. That's right, Slapshot. Remember I told you it was something used in hockey? Slap es cuando le dan muy fuerte. Slapshot. That's the name of the movie, and it's a movie that stars Paul Newman. Speak of the devil there. Wow. When he was a Newman, it was 1977. So he was quite a youngster at that time. But Slapshot, it's a classic hockey movie. I think if you're going to be in the NHL, you've got to know this movie, Slapshot. And we looked at the pronunciation. We don't pronounce it like slop, which is bathofia. Bathofia, right? Is that the word? Bathofia? Yeah, bathofia. All right, well, Reggie says, how's it going, Nick? ¿Qué tal, Nick? And Nick says, I'm drunk. Estoy borracho. And Reggie says, nah. And then Nick says, I'm not bullshitting you. No te estoy engañando. No te estoy contando gilipolleces. I'm not bullshitting you. I got stinking shit-faced on the bus. To get shit-faced is to get really drunk. And we looked at the word stink before as well. Además de apestar is to raise a stink, liarla. So I got stinking, which is another way of saying fucking. I got stinking shit-faced. To get shit-faced otra vez, emborracharse mucho, on the bus. Louise left me, me dejó. And that son of a bitch. También se puede decir SOB, si no queremos decir la palabra. That son of a bitch over there keeps playing me when he knows I'm shit-faced, ¿no? Jugándomela. Cuando sabe que estoy borrachísimo. And then he says, geez. Geez is another way of saying Jesus. Se escribe J-E-E-Z. And he says, geez. I'm really sorry. Lo siento mucho. All right, there we go, folks. A movie from 1977, the year I was born, about hockey called Slapshot, starring the one and only Paul Newman. All right, folks, it is time for today's famous birthday trivia. That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays here on the Show with No Name. Let's see what we've got for today's famous birthdays. The first person on today's famous birthday roster is a guy who was born in 1961. He is a rock singer with an amazing voice, a very raspy rock voice. And one of my favorite rock voices. The group that he fronted, not anymore, but now he does solo work. I know because I follow him. But the group that he made famous and as the lead singer was Cinderella. Cinderella. Oh, man. Have you ever heard Cinderella? They're awesome. You got to listen to Save Me. You got to listen to Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. Beautiful song. Wow. That's a ballad. Talk about a power ballad. The group is Cinderella, and he's not just a great singer, but he also plays the guitar as well. So very talented rocker. Number 2, speaking of talented, this actor, activist, director, race car driver, and businessman, man, one of the greatest celebrities of the 20th century. And he's done it all. He has literally been in every movie. He won the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance in The Color of Money. Remember that one? The Color of Money. It's about playing pool. Jugar el billar. Hey, we looked at playing pool in today's Triple Trouble. So yeah, Cool Hand Luke, Road to Perdition, The Sting, Slapshot. Yes, today's Name That Movie. So I said his name already. And this last one is the special one. No, I didn't say a special one. I said the special one. Well, he gave himself the nickname. se autodió el apodo. Soy el especial. So they call him the special one because during a press conference, he said, I think I'm the special one. So the media dubbed him. Well, he dubbed himself. The media just thought it was funny, and they continued to call him the special one. A Portuguese football manager. He coached Real Madrid for a spell durante un tiempo. And he's extremely controversial, but guess what? That's what it's all about. That's why, he's, even whether he's winning or losing, he's always in the papers, right? They're always talking about him. Let's see. Chris Valrol says, happy birthday to my cousin, Covadonga. Happy birthday, Covadonga. Also, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, Paul Newman, and the special one, Jose Mourinho. Or Mo. Let's go over to our Say What soundbite. This is Jose Mourinho, and he's talking about Balotelli, a player who he had some discipline problems with, but he loves the guy nonetheless. And he's basically saying, I told him that we had a meeting, and he said, I can't. I'm at Formula One. And he goes, yeah, but this is your job. This is, and he says, Coach, I can have a meeting with you any day. He goes, it's not every day that the Formula One comes to Italy. Leave me alone. So this is Mourinho. Obviously, they butted heads, no chocaron. But, this is him recalling one of those funny stories with Mario Balotelli. So he says, I told him to be at 2:00 in my office for a meeting. He knew that he was there at the Formula One, and he was not there. When I called him, he went to the Formula One qualification races on a Saturday, for the race on a Sunday. O sea, se ha ido 2 días. En vez de ir solo uno, quiere estar ambos días de la Formula Uno. I imagine just to, see and be seen. And Mourinho's like, well, no, I want to have a meeting with you. He's like, I can have a meeting with you anytime. All right. So here he is, the special one, as he calls himself.
I told him to be at 2:00 in my office for a meeting, and he was not there. And when I called him, he went to the Formula One qualification races on a Saturday for the race on the Sunday. on the Sunday.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Someone who speaks several languages. I know a lot of times we like to laugh at Jose Mourinho, but, and he makes himself an easy target, but the guy is pretty much fluent in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So, he's not a fool, at least as far as languages is concerned. And I think it's something, too, that he's realized since he was younger, that knowing languages opened many doors for him. In fact, some people even called him the translator back in the day. All right, well, my amigos, we are going to say goodbye with, I think, one of the best ballads ever. That's for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. for laughing and learning with me. It's been a pleasure. We're going to say goodbye with Cinderella, and the song is Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone. It's a song that came out in 1988. It is absolutely beautiful, and I know you're only going to get to hear a little clip here before we go into the next ad break, but I suggest you listen to it on your own, and you can even go to Google and put lyrics, and this way you can follow along with the lyrics of this amazing ballad. All right, thank you so much, amigos. An absolute pleasure, as always. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Ciao for now.